Good evening, everybody. Sorry for the late start, but some technical issues. Picked up a new webcam and just refilling my water. I picked up a new webcam and I had it working on Saturday, and now it just doesn't. So, or rather, it works. Boop. Just not in OBS for some reason. So this is a science project for later. I will say, great picture quality. I was very impressed. Almost as good as my Pixel. I really do love the camera on my Pixel. So anyway, let's start off tonight by cleaning the table up a bit. All right. Last time I streamed, I used 5 different dry brushes. And let's see, this is my wash brush and 4 of my Winsor & Newtons. I got a new brush that I was kind of thinking about trying. A new synthetic from Vallejo. But we'll try it out later. First, I figure tonight's as good a night as any to do the flocking on the Hellbringer and the Ostroc. So let's start by opening up the CA glue and yes, cat. I have someone here that desperately wants to guest star my cat Pixel. I realized that I forgot to post these on the last YouTube video, but these are the nozzles that go handily on paints, or sorry, on glues. Let's make sure I'm nice and wide open. I wouldn't say I'm wide open yet. Doot. You are so desperate for fame, aren't you, cat? It's a shame he's not quite so desperate for brain. Okay, so start by getting the glue flowing. Oh, there we are. A little chunk in there. Yeah, that's it. Oh, smooth. Okay. I need to pick up a fresh bottle. All right. All right, we got good coverage there. Go ahead and do both at once. Both of these still need panel lining and edge highlighting. But I just kind of felt like doing it in this order today. So when painting an army, I'm a little more consistent about, which part I do when, but Battlemechs are so personalized by their pilots. It's one of those, it's like, let's do them in the order that, I don't know. All right, we got a good start on these. So let's get these edges again. All right, that one's good. Only one spot I'm not crazy about on this one, right around here. Yes, Toby, the box is terrifying and you shall conquer it. Okay. Toby, come here. Come here. Oh, this is Toby. He's a pretty orange boy. Orange and white. Not much going on between the ears, but he's a good mouser. All right, hop down. I've tormented him enough now. What can I say? Some cats just aren't born for stardom. All right. There. I'm going to go a little further with these than I did The first one was the Wolverine. So I'm going to go ahead, and once this is dry and fully set, I got some other plans for them. So I think I'm going to go back to working on the Clint, the Javelin, and the Merlin. I almost forgot what it was. Okay. All right, so these are the custom unit. So let's see. I think I'm happy with the greens on them. I think I'm going to do the weapon detailing next. Or no. So, yes, Goober. He's really got some crazed thing going on. So tonight, instead of using Tamiya panel line accent color, I thought I'd show the difference between two other products. Oh, I almost appeared on camera there. Pardon the bump of the camera. Here we are. So, you've seen panel line accent color and how it uses capillary action to just kind of zip itself through the various nooks and crannies. So today, I'm going to show the difference between Null and Oil, which is a shade paint from Citadel. Very popular, very easy to use. It's just a really thinned out paint. Kind of seeps into the crannies. It doesn't zip along like the panel line accent color does. And just a good old fashioned Daler Rowney ink. So, this is an acrylic ink. Comes in a standard dropper bottle. Makes quite the mess. I'm going to go ahead and there. I wiped it off. So first, I'm going to use the same method for applying them. Standard quill and nib. And I'm going to use Null and Oil on the Clint and the ink on the Merlin. So I'm going to start with Null and Oil. Dip, dip. Wipe off all the excess. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Here we are. I'm going to just go in. And it kind of stays where you put it when you use a quill. If you twist the nib to let out more, you can increase the thickness of your line. Yes, you can do this with a brush. In the case of these, they're mechanical. I like accenting the sharp, artificial nature of the lines. personal stylistic choice. Boop. No doubt about it. I need to get some fresh sticky tack. There we are. We're gonna dip. There we are. But we get a nice sharp detailed line on it. But as you can see, that does take some time and patience, but it really does pop. Now we're going to switch after I get this in a little water, because it is still paint. It does still set and will clog it. All right, so Merlin. And we're going to grab dip. Go ahead and start on the shoulders here. Now, this is thinner, and it will kind of glob up. It does require a lighter touch and more care when getting it out of the bottle. There we are. You can clearly see where it's been applied. Oh, and don't forget the pen reservoir shows when it's empty. So, all right, so was it really just that I was having trouble with it, or was it the pen? Demonstration time. Same thing written, a little less globby. It is partially the pen. This is a very fine nib. But even that, you can see it comes out pretty well. And it stays wet a little longer. So I'm actually trailing off more on my fingers. So ink, while fun, can be really messy. On the plus side, I have a whole drawer full of inks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple things here. I'm gonna grab 2 other colors. That's gold. I don't want gold. I don't want glue. All right, so my drawer is not perfectly clean. There we are. We got some green. I don't seem to see my gray. Oh well. We can live without the gray. All right. Good old sap green. Now, I do have to be extra careful with this one because I know that the bottle, or that the cap is leaky on this one. Good old shaker. Bleh. Okay, we're gonna just make less mess, and we'll go ahead, pen and nib, dip, and I'm gonna go ahead and in the areas where it's green, I'm going to go ahead and go over the black with the green, add a little shade to that depth. And let's see on camera. There. Now, once, I don't know if that's going to come out well on camera, but once it's dry, you literally can just pick it off with the quill. So that did add a little bit of color into that black. So you can play around with the colors and scratching it back and blending and some other things with the inks. That being said, there's a reason they're in the drawer. I do not enjoy working with them as much. I actually prefer working with them on paper and canvas. But they are another option that some people very much enjoy. I still prefer going with one of the specific model tools, either the panel line accent color or a wash. I'll even sometimes go with Vallejo, or on the other table back there, I've got some washes from Army Painter. Really, right now I'm working with this because I have it on this table. This is a brown, and I didn't want to do brown. I know somewhere around here in this... Oh, there it is. Hey, look what I found. A black Vallejo wash. So I'm going to put them side by side on the Clint, and you can see if I can get through any of these, all these bubbles. Holy crap. Oop. Right, here's the Clint. We've got some there. I'm going to go ahead and touch up down along the bottom here. Oop, that was my bad. This is more of a wash. It is, oof, you can see right along the top of that autocannon how it just kind of bleeds in. It does not stick quite so well, so I do use these more when I need just a wash, but they can still be, when carefully applied. We'll go back to, say, this. There. Can be used for panel lining. All right. Let's clean out my quill, and I'm going to go back to our good friends from Citadel. All right, friends might be strong. Where are we? Ah. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to Bealtan Green and do... Ugh. Wound up a bit up in the reservoir on this one. Ooh, you are good and stuck. Now, let's see. Still getting water out. How about you? Hey, Noodles. Yeah, he's my big boy. He's the younger of the two. All right. Let's see. We're gonna. Oh, nope, 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 nope. We are gonna have to be extra careful tonight. I see. All right. Okay. Officially, I got these too wet, and they're just pulling water through. So, here's what we do for that. We just shake it out. Oh. I thought something looked funny in there. Okay. Can we get... Okay, officially this nib is stuck. So let's go ahead and start with... All right, there we are. Oof. Yeah, you can see that when I used it with the Vallejo wash, it got all the way tucked up in there. This means there's probably a little more liquid in here, which I can see, which, yeah. There we go. I think we got it. All right. Let's try that Bealtan green again. There we are. We'll go right across here. I had someone message me through my Etsy store today and asked if I could do them a drop ship. And not gonna lie, I'm sitting here going, I really wanted to play with that large of a model and my airbrushes. That could be so much fun. I don't have any pieces quite that big for my gaming table. Or rather, for my Battletech table. So I'm curious, Noodles, how's your painting coming along? Or are you like me and you forget to look up at the screen when you've got a brush in your hand? I'll say this. Replying to people watching is a lot easier to remember to do when I'm streaming from my PC while playing a video game. There we go. Fill it in. Now, see, I'm just going green, and I'm sitting here kind of feeling something a little different. What if I were to go into a Thonian camo shade, add a more brown tinge to it? That'd probably make it look more used. Which, you know, in this universe, that's absolutely a thing. You know, I'm kind of liking that. We'll see what it looks like dry, but that brownish tint is giving me, this mech has been in my family for multiple centuries, and I'm just the latest cannon fodder in it. I'm going to close up the Biel-Tan. Pop one up, will ya? I want you to hold open. There we are. There. All right, got some flow going. Now I throw out a lot of product and color names, and I have a huge selection of paints. When I got started, I didn't have very many, and I made do. I did some pretty fun things with them. So don't worry about having every shade. That's just what Games Workshop wants you to do. And we can't let the greedy corporate giant win. Mostly because we can't afford to. My oldest started mowing lawns for pay this summer. He's like, Dad, I want to get into Warhammer. It's like, okay. You know why they call it 40K? And he didn't. And then we went to a shop. Now Daddy wins because Battletech's less expensive. And now I have a homegrown competitor to play against. Ha 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 ha. We are. Oop, we got a little bit too much there. There we are. Peeled it back. Oh, I'm out. Here we are. Get that knee going. Alright. Yeah, I'm liking that that's drying to more, to less of the sharp, stark black and more into something that looks a little more weathered. Again, I mean, this is a universe where everything was designed by committee, guided by graft, and lots of nepotism. Right, things are feeling a little too real right now. They're giant stompy robots with lots of laser cannons. Oh yeah, I wasn't done with you. We'll be doing more with this in a minute. But so I'm going to say it. When I hit, if I hit 50 subscribers, I'm going to hold a giveaway. I already know what I'm giving away. I'm going to have one. I'm going to send a custom painted Mech to. And the other, I'm going to send or rather have Amazon ship one of these wonderful little quills to, because I love the result, and I think everybody should have a chance to try one out. So my day job is I'm a high-end IT nerd, but I'll tell you what, as fun and interesting as that is to me, it's always stressful. This is This is really where I feel relaxed more than anywhere else. I don't think this has been terribly obvious, but I do jump around the model a lot when I'm doing these. And there's a method to my madness. I have found, and this is very much a me thing, maybe it's a you thing too, we don't know yet, that if I stay on the same area too long, I wind up dragging my fingers through still wet paint, which the shades are paint still, and smearing a lot, and I don't like that. So that's why, you know, you see me jumping all around. I'm really liking where this Clint is going. There we are. All hail cannon fodder. Anybody who has a favorite mech that they think is weird, put it in the comments. It can be your favorite for any reason. I'm going to throw out there, I usually am House Davion guy. And, you know, love stuff with lots of missiles and autocannons. But probably my favorite mech is like 100% Curitan. Oof. There we go. Sorry, 100% Curitan staple, and that's the Raven. That's probably my favorite light mech. I love the scouting ability. I love the speed, the ECM. I think it looks cool too. So here we are. I think now is the time where, yep, now is the time. Every once in a while, I just get to feeling like you're going to mess something up if you don't take a break from that model that you've been, like, staring at. Fortunately, it was an easy one to correct. Yeah. Athonian Camo Shade. I'm liking that right now. Okay, so let's bring this up to where the camera can get a good look. We've added a bunch of depth to it. Some of the early dry brushing has left some really nice edge highlights on it. Almost looks a little cell shaded, which I'm a fan of doing. So this one's made some really good progress with just that one little thing. Now, you can just go and take your shade paints. I'm going to switch camera control, ditch the side view. Boop. You can take your shade paint and just do it as a wash. And yes, it will sink in, it won't, but I do find that it winds up muddying the model. It depends on the look you're going for. Sometimes it's 100% what you do. If I'm doing like a muddied battlefield, I will absolutely grab my Agrax Earthshade and layer it heavily on the feet, so it looks like they've been trudging through the mud and it's sticking. But most of the time, that's what I do with my. Wow, that always happens. That's what I wind up doing with my shade paints. All right, so we're gonna shove that in. All right, dude. I'm gonna go back to these bad boys. And we were working on the ground. I want to add some different features here. Oop. Apparently I want to throw a box on the floor as well. All right. I have things all over the place over here, so I am going to want, I love that these are already white. Oop. I'm going to add one of them to one, and Lord knows everyone else has laughed at me, so feel free to laugh. I picked up sticks. I literally bought from All Game Terrain sticks, because when you're talking this scale, it looks like a fallen tree. All right, so I'm going to want to add these, but first, all right, I'm going to grab my favorite white paint. I'm going to grab my favorite white paint. Aha! Okay. Too dry. So I'm going to give this new Vallejo brush a shot, because why not? But first, I'll let this dry, and I don't want to mix paint with the ink or the shade paint, so I'm going to toss this and get fresh water. Wah. All right, this is one of, let's see, Vallejo Detail Synthetic. It's a number 3, so nice and big. Got a nice spring back to it. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's not as set as I would like it to be. On the plus side, this is keeping in shape and springing back very nicely. So I'll hold on to this for some other purposes. And go back to something a little more beat. This good old wash brush. There we are. I did not put anywhere near enough paint on my palette for what I'm doing, because this is going to just slurp up the paint. So there. Sometimes all it takes is a different angle to realize you missed a spot. That'll be a fun comparison. Here, let's... There we are. Now put some bold titanium white there. And we'll grab a white scar. I'm gonna you see there is a slight shade difference between the two, not much. That bold titanium white really is, yeah, it does pop very much. So I have some, at least for me, exciting news. I mentioned in my About section that I am about to start hosting, or well, co-hosting. There's going to be a troika of us nut jobs hosting a retro gaming podcast, and we are a few weeks away from recording our first episode. Me being me, when we were looking for ideas, each of us was going to pick a game for the first episode. I picked an Atari game. All right. I'm not going to say which, not until the episode's released, but, or at least in the can. But I grew up playing Atari and still love it. I'm working on an idea. Oh, there's another. For, ooh, I can try him out for that. Ooh. For a Battletech themed episode. Naturally, I'm going to want to do one just on a number on different Stompy bots, because they're amazing. But oh, this is perfect for this. Oh, I'm loving this. Okay. Too much on the brush. Nice and smooth, consistent. I am, for a synthetic brush. This is nice flow control. I like it. Would recommend. 10 out of 10. No notes. Alright. I got this at my local game store, or one of them. I have two. Shout out to both of them. So this brush was picked up at Games and Stuff in Glen Burnie, Maryland. And wonderful staff. Great attitudes. Very welcoming. And they do not put up with bullshit. It is very much a you will be nice to people or else kind of place, which I'm okay with. That's where I picked up a good chunk of my paints. Another favorite place of mine is Game Haven over in Pikesville, Maryland. It's a smaller shop, but nicely run, really friendly staff, great stop if you're into card games. And they've started expanding their painting section, which I love. So, actually I'm not going to get around to this tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off and cap it. If I can find where I put the cap. There it is. All right. All right. Those looking better. I'm going to let those colors set. And I'm going to grab this little but first, cover the wet palette, swap the water. So yes, I'm working on a Javelin who I have an unreasonable dislike of for one reason only, and that would be Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries. Those bloody things are everywhere. I've killed over 200 of the little murmur. You kind of get sick of them. Only mech that I have more of a vendetta against is the Firestarter. And I think I'm well justified in saying to that thing. Again, I like running missiles and autocannons, so I tend to run a little light on heat sinks. So those things crank up your heat, and then I don't have a great way of dealing with it. There we are. All right, back to the Athonian camo shade. Uh-oh, what are we doing here? Oh, we have a split quill situation. All right. You can see that the tip is not together anymore. I'm gonna squeeze it a bit. We'll see. Alright, that's better. I think it's time to change this nib though. I've been using this, I haven't changed the nib on this since I got this last year. Oh yeah, no. Alright, so sadly, this is cooked. But the set I bought came with a whole bunch, so. Twist. The smart thing would have been to put it in this toolkit. Let's see if I did the smart thing or if I did the dentist thing. Unsurprisingly, I did the dentist thing. So I'm not sure where the replacement nibs are for that. Oh, sad panda. Well, it's not in that drawer either. There's one other place to look. Once you get far enough into this hobby, you acquire so much stuff. Bases, magnets, good old Elmers. Spare paints. Not in the spare paints. That's good. Awesome. I don't have to go to the store for at least for the bone white, which I'm running out of. I also keep a spare bold titanium white and Nuln oil and another Nuln oil and Abaddon black. Yeah, so I keep spares of most, or I try and keep spares of most of the paints that I use a lot of. Oh, this is a sad day for disorganized Dennis. I cannot find my nibs, which means I'm gonna have to switch to the other one. Okay. And it is at least until, ooh, no. We switched camera. No, we tipped the camera. There we are. Look at the important thing. Not of the giant nerd. There we are. All right. So we'll switch to this one. This nib is in good shape until I get a chance to order replacements or find those replacements. So back to this. Okay. Damn it. I'd like to also give a shout out to an event I went to this weekend. Took my kids to their first convention. It was Animate Philadelphia. Although saying it was in Philadelphia is, I don't know, a little stretching the point. It was northwest of Philadelphia. It was more like King of Prussia. But the staff there was spectacular. It was clean. It was not overcrowded. Everything was very, very friendly. And I would absolutely go there again. Talked to a number of wonderful artists in the Artist Alley, which I was very pleased to see was populated by actual artists, not just people selling prints of somebody else's work. Had some very nice discussions with them, and picked up some very fun little pieces. I hang art all over my walls. One of my favorite pieces is hanging in my bedroom. It's a picture of Wander on Argo from Shadow of the Colossus, looking at the side of the bridge that leads into the Forbidden Lands. And talked with an artist there who worked with the guy that did that work. They worked on a compilation book of Shadow of the Colossus art together. One of my all-time favorite games. Let's see. There were so very many Freeran and come on, and K-pop Demon Hunter cosplayers. Yeah, it was very cute. I will say it did take a while to get my daughter, who is my youngest, into the spirit of the convention, because, I mean, that's overwhelming for a kid. You know, the first time you get around that many people in that big a space. And at first, she just wanted to go shopping and then go home. But I made her stay until the K-pop Demon Hunter sing-along, which that was a brilliant idea on their part. And she was finally able to relax and enjoy herself. And was just looking for other things to do. And both my kids asked if we could go back again next year. And I'm thinking the answer is unequivocally yes, because that was a great time. Shoot, I need to look up their names. Naturally, they had voice actors and other industry celebrities there. And Cat, you stupid. I took I took my youngest to visit the voice actors who play Phineas and Ferb. So that's Vincent Martella and shoot. Oh, that's going to drive me bonkers. There we go. Thomas Brody Sangster. They were both there. They both did their voices for my youngest. Really let the curtain behind the open the curtain a little bit, and brought the characters to life in front of her, and it was very fun for all involved. And we got their autograph. We got them to both autograph the same 8x10, and that was magical. They also had most of the cast of Has Been Hotel. I got the autograph of not one of the main cast. I got the autograph of Cherry Bomb, but not because she was Cherry Bomb. She was also the voice actress who played Veronica on Voltron Legendary Defender. And folks, if you haven't seen that, I grew up with the original Voltron, and there was always something I felt was off about that show. And I never got into it the way other kids did. But Voltron Legendary Defender is spectacular. Everything it's much better storytelling. There's actually character development arcs. But yeah. Lance could have stayed that horn dog goober that he was from the beginning of the show, but he actually got so much character growth. And having his big sister appear on the show, and see that he had grown and react to that, it was pretty cool. But that's Christine Alabato, and her husband is her manager, and they are the sweetest people. My oldest got a kick out of that because he's watched through Voltron. Not all the way to the end, though. He just could not finish it. I was like, bro, I was like, it's a feels trip. He said, that's why I don't want to watch the end of it. He was nearly starstruck when he was getting an autograph. He was getting an autograph for his girlfriend. Got Blake Roman, who's Angel Dust in Has Been. And I think the thing that threw him the most was that Blake was just a cool guy, just nice and welcoming to fans, and yeah, I had a great weekend, and I hope you did too. So, I'm gushing about the nerdy crap that I did. I haven't really gotten to tell any of my friends yet. So, I guess I'm just starting with you guys. Oh, come on. I will say that one of the nice things about having my Etsy shop is, you know, get that little extra paycheck, and I use that that money to do fun things with my more fun things with my kid. And you know, when one of those things I can get paid for is, you know, get, you know, money for painting, which I love to do anyway. That's really kind of an awesome thing. I don't know if this channel will ever take off, and I don't care. But I can promise you, that's what's going to happen with that money. It funds me doing things with my kids. Oh, empty. That's a little much. All right. I think that's where I'm going to call it tonight. I thank everybody for joining me. And just remember, your painting doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be whatever you want to make it. And I hope that you have a wonderful evening. All right. Night.